So Olivia has been scared of this bath, so I'm trying to get her to come near it. She won't put a foot on it, which is what I would really love for her to do. But just getting her this close is huge because originally she was like walking on the counter and wasn't comfortable, but she's really comfortable on this little T perch, so I just moved it close to it. So I wanted to expand a little bit on this whole TStand thing where I use this tiny little TStand that Olivia is incredibly familiar with, very confident, comfortable on, and how I used it up against this bathing apparatus that she was otherwise like, no, thank you. You're gonna see the progression here of where I'm just kind of looking at how I set up this situation, and I didn't set it up great to start with. I think I thought that Olivia was gonna handle everything better than she actually did. The only way I was able to get her to come close to the bathing thingy, the fountain, was by using this little TStand perch that she absolutely really likes and associates positively. And that's just because of what her previous owner did. It's nothing that I did with this stand. I hadn't really used it yet, but it was the perfect height for this little fountain. And I thought if she has something that she deems as very comfortable next to something that is making her uncomfortable, maybe I could even out that environment to be a little bit more neutral for her. So that was kind of my idea with doing that. And I think how you guys can apply this at home is if your bird is scared of something, try to find a way to give your bird some sort of comfort that ups his or her confidence level while encountering the uncomfortable thing. So that might be a TStand, it might be a toy, it might be the presence of the favorite person. It could be numerous things, but don't pair uncomfortable with uncomfortable with more uncomfortable. You kind of want to bring in something that allows the bird to be like, yeah, I can now handle this scenario a little bit better and I can succeed a little bit better in this environment, if that kind of makes sense. You can reach. Come on. What if I stop running the water? So the lesson here is variables. Limit variables. So variables are like the sound of the running water, the look of the running water, the presence of the running water. All those things all play a vital role in maybe making it so that Olivia is less likely to interact with this. When I first started this with Blueberry, my Budgie, I actually didn't have any of that stuff going because you want to eliminate variables and then slowly add them. I thought that Olivia was braver than she actually was, and so I just started with that running water thinking no big deal. Then I realized because I was really not progressing that I needed to turn that off to eliminate it as an issue. The cool thing about it though is that it still leaves water in there, and most birds are going to be totally okay with standing still water that they can possibly drink, or you can like put treats into a little bit and they can see that it's wet, but it's not going to get them wet. So I think in that respect it was really helpful, but in this moment I finally realized like, hey, I'm trying to do too much at once and I need to dwindle this back. So always starting with less variables in the very beginning and then adding them will make you more successful than what I did here of assuming she would be more desensitized than she actually was. Let's see if that makes it a little less scary for you. Does that make it less scary? You see? Just a little bit of water in here. No big deal. No, no, no. Don't retreat. Quick going down there for the... Yeah. Holy cow. She did it. You did it. My battery's about to die. Good girl. Stay there. Good girl. want to see it with the water on? Is it too soon? Let's see how you do. Well, I'd click and reward, but she already has food in her mouth. You did it! Oh my gosh, so good. So I really wish I had taken footage when Olivia wouldn't come near this bathing fountain, because then you guys could see that this is a huge transformation. Obviously, I was going to great lengths, I thought, to try to keep her on the TStand, because I thought that was my way to get her onto the bath. And lo and behold, actually, when she jumped down, she just happened to jump right up and be with it. Now, I'm moving a lot faster than I would normally tell somebody else to move. The fact that I'm plugging it back in and starting the water right away on her first time, normally you would probably want to make sure that this is really consistent before adding another variable. I have a lot of confidence in Olivia because of her background, because she comes from a client who I've had so many training sessions with before, so I'm pushing harder than I normally would out of a certain expectation of this particular bird, but it's not what I would coach somebody to do. I would definitely say get consistent before adding another variable. So with bathing, a lot of the training that goes into bath training is environmental based, and what I mean by that is, like, you are not gonna get a bird to bathe if the environment isn't set up to do so. So a lot of the time you can do this by, some birds like hearing a vacuum and that gets them in the mood to bathe. Sometimes it's temperature related, sometimes it's comfort related, where it's a vulnerable thing for them to get wet and they don't wanna do it around any sort of chaos, loud noises, people over, distractions, things like that. So setting up the environment to be incredibly set up for success, as we always say here at BirdTricks, is really, really important. And I think with bathing, more than anything, you really need to look at your surroundings and how you can alter them to get your bird to want to bathe. Also, if you are dealing with something like this, such as bathing, some birds have gone through some sort of trauma to make bathing even harder than this looks with Olivia. So if the fear is incredibly high, you may need higher food motivation to match the fear. So if you are offering a pine nut, which is like your bird's number 3 favorite treat, for something that is incredibly scary or fearful to your bird, you're probably not gonna get that behavior. You might need to consider a jackpot reward, you might need to consider a better treat, you might need to consider a shorter session, or all of the above mixed together. A really short treat with really high value rewards that are pretty much jackpotted rewards every single time. And you could go off repetition based. So that's kind of what I see for things that the bird deems as incredibly fearful. You kind of need to up your game and offer something that is worthwhile. So if you have a fear of heights and I say, if you climb up to that top of the building, I'll give you $1, you're probably not going to climb to the top of the building. But there's some money value that will make you think about climbing to the top of that building. So what is worth it to you to overcome your fear? And what is worth it to the bird to overcome theirs? You need to give them a very good incentive. You can't just expect them to want to overcome fear. It's a hard thing for all of us living creatures to do. So we need some incentive to overcome our fears. So keep that in mind. Also, observational learning is incredibly powerful when it comes to bathing, especially for the small species of parrots. So if you can use one of your birds who already likes to bathe and show the bird who doesn't like to bathe that bird bathing, that goes a long way. A lot of the times they're looking at the other bird that likes to bathe and they're like, well, he didn't die, so maybe I could try this. Observational learning is really, really powerful. If you think about it in nature and in the wild, this is a really terrible example, but it's legit. If you guys have ever heard about penguins and one of them jumps off into the ocean to see if there's any seals down there, and if he lives, then everybody jumps in. So it's kind of an observational learning thing. They learn to do what others do. When one crosses the bridge, they all cross the bridge, that sort of thing. So the other tactic that I absolutely love and swear by and think everyone should kind of consider starting with is teaching your bird to drink from this fountain. And that's with the water starting off. So if they just learn to go over here and drink from it, that's fantastic. When you eventually add the water actually moving, it usually is an easier transition because they've already associated it so positively as like, oh, okay, yeah, now I'll drink from running water. Totally okay. The other thing that I've done is just kind of sprinkle some treats in the water for them to go and fish out, and that gets them interacting with the water, because anything at this point with them choosing to interact with the water is a win and really incredibly helpful in the long-term training. So try to think about what you can do to get your bird to go to the water versus you trying to push the water onto your bird or like force your bird into the water, anything like that. You want to figure out a way to get the bird to go to the water, if that makes sense. So yeah, basically just make it their decision to approach them and let them leave anytime. So an animal that feels like they can get out of that situation anytime they want is more likely to stay than the animal who feels forced into being in a situation it doesn't want to be in. So encourage them to stay, but let them leave anytime. So really try to figure out, and this is what I was struggling with, where you hear me kind of like sighing and stuff, because I'm frustrated with myself, right? I haven't set it up properly. I'm not getting the behavior that I want because I haven't thought it through well enough, and the assumptions that I previously made set me up for a little bit of failure. And so what I'm struggling with is how to encourage this bird, Olivia, to want to interact with this bathing fountain, to want to stay. How do I make that better? Which is why that perch really came in handy for me, because it was offering her some sort of comfort. So think through that. That's going to look different for every bird probably. You need to figure out how you can encourage them to stay, but allow them to leave at any time. This will be more effective in the long term. Not scary at all. Oh, she almost ditched. She probably will here soon, but maybe I'll just have her walk around. Look at you. Oh, you're still eating. I wanted to make sure that I target her off of it too, so it's not too much emphasis put on the fountain. But true testament will be if you do this easily. Nope, you're back down. Can you jump up? Can you jump up here? Come on up here. Come on up here. What if we start with the water off again? We start with the water off. You come down. Okay, she still doesn't want to be set on it. We did it before. Good girl. See, you're up on it again. You did it. Look at you. Let's turn the water back on. Ready? Good job. How about you come over here? Look at you, you're so brave. So brave, Olivia. So So remember earlier how I was talking about bringing a certain level of comfort to the bird when they're in an uncomfortable position, which might mean, or situation I should say, which might mean like they're fearful of something and so they need to know that they are safe and that they're okay. A lot of that comes from the bird being able to leave that situation at any point. But in this you can really see, and if you need to go back in the video to see this point, my proximity to Olivia really matters and is playing a gigantic role. So because I have a very good relationship with her, she finds my presence comforting. If I get too far away, she's about to flee as well and get away from that situation too. So I really have to understand how me being a certain amount of close is bringing comfort and confidence to her in that environment. And if I go too far away, then she's gonna feel uncomfortable in that environment and want to go away as well and be where I'm at. So I think for you guys to take away at home is to understand how your presence is either bringing comfort to your bird in a situation like this, like it was with Olivia, and how important it is for just setting up for success by being aware of that. Now, it could be the complete opposite as well. Like when I do crate training, I actually notice that the bird will usually not want me super close because they're worried that the human's gonna close the door on them and stuff, and that's usually the fear there. But in this situation, my proximity being closer was actually very helpful. So it's definitely a scenario-based thing. It's a bird-based thing. It's a your relationship with your bird-based thing, because obviously if you don't have a good relationship, your bird's not going to want you to be there, and you probably shouldn't be working on something like this. But I want to draw attention to it because it's something that really plays a pivotal role in a ton of different training scenarios that I want you guys to just overall be aware of. Good job. Good job. I see a little bathing response in you sometimes. Good job. I was a little late. Where'd you go? Can you go back up? Can you go back up? Well, if you go back, oh, you dipped your tail. Not doing it? Come on. Olivia. You come over here? Good job. Good job. Proud of you. I need a spray bottle, but I don't have mine in here. Putting your butt in the water. You are. You're putting your butt in the water. You could do a bathing response or like dip your face in here a little bit. What do you think? You
being really good. So that's what got you that. Very tolerant. You can play in this. You gonna fluff up? You gonna fluff up? You gonna come back? You gonna come back? You out of here. Look like you're gonna bail. You ditching me? Good job. You fluff. That's enough.
So as you guys saw, I ended on that jackpot, what I considered a huge breakthrough moment of getting that amazing bathing response that I hadn't seen yet in this session. It was fantastic. And as you guys can see, I really pushed at the end. Pushing as in pushing her comfort level boundaries and seeing how far I could take it. So by putting my fingers in the water, that's adding a different variable and dynamic of sound and moving the water and possibly making it so that she might get wet. She doesn't really know what my intentions are entirely, but hopefully she trusts me enough to know that I'm not just gonna douse her. On one of those repetitions, I was actually just clicking and rewarding for her tolerating me playing with the water and her non-reaction. So sometimes I'm going for very minimal reaction or no reaction to what I'm doing. And then at the end you could see like actually putting water on her. This might not be something that you actually get to. I'm just kind of feeling her out. I know that she's on the comfort of her perch and TStand that she likes so much, so I'm thinking I could get away with a little bit of pushing, and I did, and I called the session after that. I didn't want to push my luck after that. It could quickly turn into something that is not necessarily interpreted as fun anymore to Olivia, plus we've been training a while. So I hope you guys gleaned a lot of insight on how to start bathing and what to look for when training your own bird to do it. Even if it doesn't look like Olivia exactly, hopefully this video gave you a few nuances and things to consider when you actually set your bird up for bath training, because every bird's health depends on this. This is how we keep their plumage, their feathers looking really, really nice. They need to be taking baths. So ideally, if you can offer your bird the opportunity to be able to bathe itself every single day, that is awesome. Whether or not they do it, that's up to them and a totally different story. But if we can at least encourage them to enjoy bathing, it should never be a form of punishment where we use it to get them to stop doing certain behaviors. You only ever want to associate water in very positive ways. So hopefully this helps, and happy bath training.